We are following some more breaking news. Testimony in the city gun task force trial involves fallen detective Sean Suter. Suter was killed back in November in West Baltimore. His killer has not yet been caught. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live at the federal courthouse downtown with this unexpected testimony. Mike?
Mary, this testimony comes from a disgraced former detective who says Suter was stealing from people on the job back in 2008 and 2009. Suter is not around to defend himself, and all we've ever heard about him from the Baltimore City Police Department is that he's a good, upstanding cop. A major development from the witness stand where former Baltimore City Police Detective Mamadou Gondo made a stunning admission. He says Detective Sean Suter stole money when the two worked together in a specialized enforcement unit a decade ago. Suter was killed last November, a day before his scheduled testimony before a grand jury about police corruption. His killing has never been solved. This is what then Commissioner Kevin Davis had to say about the connection.
How can it be possible that Detective Suter was shot and killed on the eve of his grand jury testimony, and for that murder not to have anything to do with the grand jury testimony? And people have said, is that possible? And the answer is, of course it's possible. Detective Suter and his partner were in a very dangerous area, following up on a brutal triple murder in 2016.
Detective Gondo's theft allegations about Suter do not involve the gun trace task force. Two of the GTTF's members are on trial right now for robbery and overtime fraud.
Are you going to continue to lie to me?
But there's a second connection between Suter and the GTTF. Its leader, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins. Prosecutors allege Jenkins planted drugs on two men in 2010, unbeknownst to Suter, and let Suter find them. The case sent the men to prison, and they were later released. Law professor Doug Colbert listened to today's testimony.
These are matters of the highest public interest, the trust of a police officer and of a department. And so it's going to be very difficult for people to know which officers they can trust and which ones are dirty.
Gondo says he was never worried about internal affairs, and he says Sergeant Jenkins was very well connected with the command staff, so that's why he never reported on him. He said he felt he'd be blackballed if he did. Reporting live at the federal courthouse, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Mike, thank you. Detective Gondo faces a maximum of 60 years in prison if convicted, but his testimony for the government could reduce that at sentencing.